Welcome to Kung Fu Epic number 2. I am your host, Echo Fang Werewolf. So, I have decided that I am going to give you some photos of Wendigo, Sasquatch, Dogman. Alright? So, we're going to go through this list. And hope that I didn't just drink an ant. And, we're going to make sure you guys understand a few things. I can give a more in-depth detail here than I could on TikTok because there's a lot more natives on TikTok and a lot more pretendians on TikTok. There are pretendians here on social media, and specifically YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram. I don't want to be the guy who reveals everything. I don't want to be the guy who fucks up and gives pretendians more information than they should. The thing with folklore, though, is that in my TikToks, I gave 5% of the truth. So here, I'm also going to give you 5 to 10% of the truth from the folklore that I learned growing up as a child. Now, remind you, I am not a connected native. I am trying to reconnect, but the pretendians kind of fucked that up because I'm also part black as well as part native. I'm also part white. We pretty much know that if you've been here long enough with me, then you know who I am. If you are new to the channel, welcome aboard. I hope you enjoy the ride. I give you 99.9. And we're going to begin. So, when I left off on YouTube, TikTok, I showed, come on, motherfucker. I'm going to show you some of the pictures that I showed on YouTube. Goddamn it, TikTok. So, if you're from TikTok, I cannot make this any bigger, but if you Google Wendigos and Sasquatches, they will show you the Marvel heroes, villains first. These are not them. But if you can see that, these are the depictions of Bigfoot. Alright? So they definitely, you can see what the hell Bigfoot looks like. Alright? Now, see if we can scale down. I think I might have mentioned Dogmen too. Let's see, where can we find Wendigos? Not just a toy. Alright, this is one depiction of a Wendigo. But that's not my favorite. This is another depiction of a Wendigo. Also not my favorite. Another depiction of a Wendigo. Where the hell's the one I really like? This is another depiction of a Wendigo. Now I'm gonna be honest, I don't know if these things live in packs, clans, pairs. I wouldn't know what the hell you would call a whole squad of Wendigos. A tribe, maybe. Where is the one with the woman fighting the Wendigo? I gotta wait for the pictures to appear, apparently, while I'm scrolling. This is a picture that I used on TikTok with a woman with a knife fighting a Wendigo. But here's another depiction of the Wendigo. And understand that these things, they're not invincible. They're just hard as fuck to kill. Alright? Here's another depiction. Excuse me. God damn it. Alright. This is another good one, because the Wendigo's hunger is insatiable, which means they never stop being hungry. And that's not a flex or a saving grace. Now, if you encounter one and you can kill it, that's a flex. I found my favorite one. This is my favorite picture and depiction of a Wendigo. Now, before we go getting into the differences between Wendigos and Skinwalkers and shit, and Sasquatches, I showed you what the Sasquatches look like. I've now showed you what Wendigo looks like. Now we're gonna go into Skinwalkers. Now understand that the Skinwalker story and the Wendigo story are somewhat similar. These look more like zombies than Skinwalkers, so take them with a grain of salt. If the camera lets me actually show the shit, which it is not doing because there's a blue line that's like holding me up. And a lot of people get Skinwalkers and Wendigos mixed up because a Skinwalker has that same frail body like shit. So you know you gotta be real careful. This is gonna take forever. I hate technology, I just want to point that out. Okay. Come on, motherfucker. Well, anyway, top right corner. That one right there is a depiction of Skinwalker. Now, I did have another image in my TikTok, but you couldn't count it as a Skinwalker because there are some tribes that kill certain animals and wear the hide and crawl in with the other animals so they can get close to kill more of the same said animal. Now, I left that part off of my TikTok because unfortunately, I do have a pretendian following me, and I didn't want to give him that information because a lot of people don't seem to understand how this works. This is also a Skinwalker. I mean, no, this is a Wendigo. Alright, so now you pretty much have an idea of what Wendigos and Skinwalkers and Bigfoot look like. So, for all unseen reasons, I am only going to give you 5% of a national truth, if that makes sense. Alright? And the reason why I'm only going to give you 5% is because I don't know if any pretendians are following me here. And I don't want to be the guy who gave the pretendians the information that they needed to infiltrate the tribes and be like, yo, well, I'm from Virginia and this tribe's Bigfoot story is this. Or I'm from Virginia and this tribe's Bigfoot story is that. And I'm from Virginia and this tribe does this, this, and that as their ceremonies. And we're going to keep it at 5% truth and everything else complete myth bullshit. Okay? Now, maybe you didn't hear that, so I'll repeat it. Complete myth bullshit. Alright? And why did I say complete myth bullshit? I also have to stand up, y'all, because my hip is hurting. And I've been sitting most of the day to edit my film, which I don't go back to editing until July 1st. So, I grab my Gatorade, knock off any of the ants, take a swig. The whole point being made is that if you're going to go into the wilderness and an elder, here's your 5% truth. If an elder tells you that there's a point beyond native territory, if you are hunting and your target goes past that point, it belongs to them. Them being Sasquatch. Alright? Now, the reason why I can say them being Sasquatch, because Sasquatch really don't live amongst the people other than their own people. Legend has it, depending on what tribe you talk to, let me repeat that, depending on what tribe you talk to, that there are two types of Sasquatch. There are good ones and there are bad ones. And then there's the one that Echo Fang Grey Wolf says, I don't want to deal with either one of them. Because I'm 5'3" and their tallest one is between 14 and 12 feet tall. I'm not trying to fucking deal with that shit. You ever heard of saying of biting off more than you can chew? There you go. Now, when it comes to Skinwalkers, when it comes to Wendigo, first we're going to run the similarities. Alright? For a Skinwalker has given into the primal craving of eating human flesh, which is what generally supposedly turns them into Skinwalkers. On the flip side, I fucked that up. I fucked that up. Everything I just said was the Wendigo. My bad. For the Wendigo, everything I just said about the Skinwalker, I was wrong. What I meant to say was, for the Wendigo, they are the ones who crave human flesh. Alright? They crave human flesh, and they transform into these things because they crave human flesh, and it's more than likely they unalive some humans, more than likely somebody from their tribe, and because of proximity, and they became these indomitable things that have a hunger that never ends, and they walk around hungry all the time. Now, the thing with Wendigos, and I can't swear to this because I'm not from the tribes connected to that, I don't know if they can turn into human beings. Alright? I know they change from human beings to Wendigos, but I don't know if they can change back into humans and walk amongst the humans. Alright? So, there's your 5% of truth for the Wendigo. I don't know if they can turn into human beings and walk amongst us in the daytime, which would probably be how they would imprint on you and wait for you to one day just decide to go into the forest, which would make no sense, especially if you live in town and you never go into the forest, you never go on hiking trails and none of that other shit. So that would kind of be more myth than reality. So like I said, I don't know if Wendigos can shapeshift back to human form. Skinwalkers, on the other hand, now we're going to be correct. We're still only going to get 5% of the truth. Skinwalkers, on the other hand, can do that. But Skinwalkers also don't crave human flesh that I am aware of. I can be wrong. I can be completely and totally wrong. But Skinwalkers, as far as I know, is from people who practice the dark arts and started fucking with magic that they didn't understand, and they become these things. I do not know if Skinwalkers also travel in packs or clans. Now, I can say that about Bigfoot because Bigfoot has their own tribes. You have a good tribe of Bigfoot, you have a bad tribe of Bigfoot. So, in knowing that, I personally don't ever want to collide, confront, contain, or see a fucking Bigfoot. Because I have really bad luck, and with my luck, I would be befriended by the bad Bigfoot playing the good Bigfoot playing the bad Bigfoot. And that means he just needs a shorter knife. Alright? That's all that means. It means he just needs a shorter knife to cut my throat. Or he needs to get in with me so that when I'm believing that he's my friend, just when I know I can trust him the most, he may very well kill my shit. And that means he's the bad guy. Alright? I don't want to meet the good guy playing the bad guy playing the good guy. Because the bad guy playing the good guy playing the bad guy already just fucked me up. So why would I want to meet either one of them? Unless we have to work together, like in Alien vs. Predator when they were on the ice, I would prefer to leave these motherfuckers where they at. I'm just saying. If you just leave paranormal and cryptic shit the fuck alone, then they won't bother you. And more than likely, it's probably not meant for you to see them in the first place. So why in the fuck would you go out and start hunting for them? Because you'd have to be sideways ass stupid to decide, I'm going to go hunt for Bigfoot or Sasquatch. I'm going to go hunt for Skinwalkers. I'm going to go hunt for fucking Wendigo. Also, for the note of the record, Wendigos are not blind. They are not blind. It is not like the movie Until Dawn. They are not fucking blind. They have an insatiable appetite. It cannot be quenched. They have to constantly eat human flesh. So, again, this is why I don't know if Wendigos can shift back into human form. I know that Skinwalkers can. But Skinwalkers, again, they are medicine men that practice the dark side of the medicine and the magic, and they became Skinwalkers as their punishment. I don't know if there's any redeeming qualities or if they can even be redeemed. You would have to ask a full-blooded, connected native that lives on a res that knows all of the stories in which I mentioned. I don't have that. I have folklore and bits and pieces of that because of like cultural exchanges and whatnot. But for the most part, Virginia doesn't have any. Hopefully, Virginia doesn't have any skinwalkers. Virginia does have legends of Bigfoot. We do not, to my knowledge, have any knowledge or legends of Wendigo. But I do know about Wendigo through cultural exchange. You know, Swiftwater is an Ojibwa or an Algonquin-speaking native. So most of Swiftwater's story would be up north towards Canada. Now, don't get me wrong, there are other Ojibwa stories that I do know, but I'm not going to tell them because I've learned them from other Ojibwa on the fucking TikTok, and I beg them to not share everything because of the pretending war that is continuing to go on all of social media. This is why I'm only giving you guys 5% of the truth, because if God forbid that a Pretendian watches this video and then goes and talks to whatever tribe is here in Virginia, and then I'm fucking correct, and next thing you know, this motherfucker's infiltrated and he's getting all their native benefits and all that shit, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of on me, so I don't want to do that. That's why you're only getting 5% of the truth. Take what I say as 5% of the truth, and then go with it. This will never give you enough information that you can use to infiltrate and become a tribal member, because most of them don't give a flying fuck about folklore. If you want to go get a job as their storyteller, you might have a fighting chance. But if you think that it's going to help you become a native, it is not. Now, we're going to shift on over to the difference between dogman and werewolf. I will openly admit that I know more about werewolves than dogmen. They are not the same. They look the same, but they are not the same. Alright? Are we clear? Make sure that you understand. From what I know, a dogman has always been a dogman, and like Sasquatch, they travel in packs, just like actual wolves. A werewolf is a human being that was supposedly bitten by a werewolf and became a werewolf. And I don't know if they really run in packs, but they just might. If you watch Teen Wolf, then you know that they ran in packs for the more modern version, where if you watch the Marty McFly Teen Wolf, no, not so much. But understand that TV and reality sometimes intertwine, and some shit can be twisted up, so you want to be real careful. Now, for honorable mentions, what I'm not going to talk about, I'm not going to talk about Coyote. I'm not going to talk about the Deer Woman. I'm not going to talk about Thunderbird. I'm not going to talk about the Inuit ice person. I can't remember their name. I made a book about it. I wrote an imaginary name in there. I'm pretty sure it's not her name, but I called her Anizana. But anyway, it's not real. That's not the person's real name. But it is a Inuit myth of a person who basically is like an ice guy. Think Snowbird from Alpha Flight, only real. So, we're not going to talk about them. Those are just honorable mentions that I also put in my book, Love 13, which is not published yet. But anyway, moving back on to the Dogman and the Werewolf. We know that a silver bullet can kill a werewolf. We also know that anything silver, pure silver, if this doorknob was pure silver and a werewolf touched it, his hand would fry. A dog man, we don't know if silver hurts them. I'm pretty sure it probably doesn't because they were never human. Now again, that's 5% of the truth because I'm not sure if they were ever human, but I am sure that they run in packs. There are things on this app of YouTube that can tell you if Bigfoot and Dogmen got along or not, and there has been a story where Bigfoot and Dogmen have been witnessed fighting. I don't know if the story is real, but I did listen to it, so you guys can give the creepypasta people and other channels like that a look-see, and they could give you stuff. I don't know if these people ever actually consult actual natives about some of this stuff, which is why we're going with the 5% truth. All right? And the reason why I say it's 5% truth is because of the simple fact that I don't have enough history in my life to confirm or deny this shit that I'm telling you. I do know enough that some of the folklore that I have given you is real enough for me to talk about, but not real enough for me to prove. I'm not going to go look for Bigfoot. We're just going to get that right out of the way. I'm not going to go look for dogmen. I am going to tell you that if you choose to do that, then heed this as a fucking 900.99% truth. Before you go looking for anything native that is troublesome or that is dangerous, you may want to swing by the village that folklore came from. You may want to get some blessed items. If you're going hunting and you need to go pull a sinners where the Choctaw were chasing the vampire, you need to get a medicine man to bless your weapons because every little bit helps. These things are not immortal, but they are die hard, which means you will have all kinds of hell trying to kill them. If I run up on a Wendigo by accident, I hope that I see it before it sees me. Same thing with a dog man, same thing with Sasquatch. If I see it before it sees me, I'm backing the fuck away. Like quick, fast, in a hurry, I'm backing the fuck away. I will try to keep everyone away from that area. Like, yo, there's something over there. We need to not go that way. Trip's over, we're going home. People are gonna probably get mad, say fuck you, and run behind me, and I'm like, okay, well, I did my part. If you want to die, knock yourself the fuck out. You know, you can't always make someone follow the rules, but you should probably know that if you happen to stumble into some of these things, you're gonna need some survival tactics. So, like I said, if you're going anywhere in the woods and an elder tells you this is your stopping point, you can come from here, but you stop here. This is an 8-mile trek. There is no campground here, because the campground is right here, smack dead in the middle of your 8-mile trek between the 4th and 5th mile. Camp there. There are probably spiritual barriers right there, which gives the other 4-point-something miles, just in case these things kind of like tend to come in and try to go past the barrier. However, if the spiritual barrier is strong enough, then these things probably can't get through. I'm not taking that motherfucking chance. Campground's right here, spiritual barrier's right here. I'm camping on this side. I know what you're thinking. Didn't you say the barrier's right here? Yes, I did. I'm camping on this side. And you're probably thinking, but if this is the far side, the camp is right here, why are you camping so far away from the barrier? No. I'm not camping so far away from the barrier. I'm camping close to the fucking exit so that I can leave in case the barrier doesn't fucking work. Alright? Think smarter. Though, I'm not being somebody's meal ticket tonight. If we're going camping and a native says, do not go past the second barrier. You got to enter the first barrier, and the campground is in the middle. The barrier goes, yay so far this way, yay so far that way, yay so far this way. The path we came from points to where we left. I'm taking the cottage closest to the path we came from. My journey home will not be as slow as yours. If the motherfucking barrier fails, I get home before you. If you make it, yay. If you don't make it, sorry for you, but I chose to camp on this side, far away from the second barrier, because that doesn't mean this barrier is stronger than this barrier. What it does is, this gives me a fighting chance to get out faster than if I camped on this side where maybe it can touch the barrier. Maybe I'm going to look out my window and this motherfucker be like this, drooling and shit. There's always one. I know you're not going to hear this, or you're not going to want to hear this. There's fucking always one. There's always something, someone, or some idiotic thing. It can be a human, it can be a creature. There's always one that wants to skirt the rules and outskirt the boundaries. If this thing figures out that it can touch the barrier, and it decides to reach all the way through the barrier, and it pulls its hand back, and it's not damaged, it's like not even smoking or sizzling, who's going to stop that motherfucker from just come through the barrier? Comes through the barrier, we're all fucking dead. Now, we don't know if the person who put the spiritual barrier there is still alive, and what happens when that person dies. If a member of his family is still alive, will the barrier still be there? I'm not taking that motherfucking chance, yo. That's why I said, this is the barrier. This is the campsite. This is where I am parked. The quick trip back home to get to my car is 1 mile. Because I'm going to be running so fast that I'm not going to be counting the 3 miles before that 1 mile. That's what's going to happen. Now, if I can't outrun the son of a bitch, when everybody else starts walking up the path, I'm going to walk over to the old shaman and say, look, you got something that I can protect my fucking family with. You got some kind of amulet or warding spell, something that I can put somewhere to make sure this son of a bitch can't get in. Now, do I need to carry salt and sprinkle it around the house and some kind of purifying builder? I'm going to be thinking about shit like that, where everybody else thinking, oh, look, it's such a beautiful landmass. It's so wonderful. We just got to go here. Now, let's see. If the barrier's right here, and the campsite's right here, and the river is right here, does the barrier go over the river and around to keep us safe from the creatures at hand? Rather it be a dogman, a werewolf, a vampire, a goddamn fucking skinwalker, a Wendigo, and a Sasquatch. I need to know. Because I don't want to be somewhere where all these motherfuckers are going to converge and have a battle. And with my luck, that would be exactly what happens. Because that would be the day I decide, oh, you know what, I'm going to go camping by myself. I'm going to go to this campground. Nobody else is going with me. I'm just going to be by myself. I'm going to have maybe my bow and arrow and a knife. And the shaman's probably going to walk me there. Or the medicine man's probably going to walk me there and say, all right, look, we're at this campground. You chose this first cabin. Why did you choose the first cabin? I said, hey, look, man, I'm not a full-blooded native. If you told me to pick the last cabin, I would have picked that because I would trust you. But I got trust issues. And maybe, just maybe, motherfucking medicine man could be working with those damn things. You understand the concept now? I'm at the first cabin. If this motherfucker got some warding shit to keep these fucking things at bay, where they can just touch it, but they can't go through, because if they go through, their hands or some shit catch on fire, we're good. Unless the barrier can be dug under, or jumped over, or swam under. You see the things of why I'm always thinking ahead? I want my weapons blessed. Alright? I want a holy shotgun. I want a holy arrow. I want holy water where I can have access to it. So I'm just soak the tips of my arrows in that shit. It's like, nah, anything goes wrong, when my bullets run out, these arrows are also gonna run out, but I want to do enough damage that I can get the fuck away from here. Now, I want my knife soaked in that shit. Now, if I got bullets, they're getting soaked in that shit. Now, even if it's just the tips. Something is going to save me If not just me by myself, something is going to save me. You need to think about shit like that. So once again, werewolves, we know that bullets hurt them. I don't know any Native American legends about vampires. And the closest thing that I've ever heard was that whole movie Sinners. So if that's a thing, they had to wait till sunlight. So that's an issue. And also they can't be invited in. And then there's crosses. But as far as everything else, you know, the whole point being that some things are old, work. Silver bullets, werewolves. Spike to the heart, vampires. Sunlight, vampires. But technically a werewolf was created to guard the vampires during the day. Which is why I never understood why werewolves didn't just kill their masters. But hey, I don't come up with the folklore. I just like the stories. Wendigo, Skinwalker. They also have this thing where they mimic people that you know. So if your Uncle Charlie died 7 years ago and he was cremated and you see your Uncle Charlie out the window, it's time for you to go. Alright? It's not time for you to spend the entire night. It's time for you to fucking go. You make sure you tell your kids, if you see a strange looking man out there, do not invite him in. Don't call his name. And if he calls your name, ignore him. Get in the house and lock the door. You understand why if I go camping, I would only go camping for one fucking day now. Because I know if I woke up the next day and everybody's safe and sound, we going home. Especially if I'm the one that heard that motherfucker say, "Hey, James. James." And I don't answer, so he goes, "Yo, Echo Fang Grey Wolf." And I'm like, okay. But if I hear my dad's voice, my dad was dead long before I changed his name. So then we know it's a problem. Also, my dad got cremated. So if I happen to see him in the woods, I know that's not my dad. As much as I love my dad, I would never trust a person who looks like him when I was at the cremation knowing that my dad got cremated. You understand how that works? So nah, we not doing that. Now, as far as skinwalkers, as long as you don't whistle at night or return and answer when they call you, you're probably going to be alright. Dogmen, they're die hard. I do not know what can kill them. Sasquatch, they're die hard. I do not know what can kill them, but I know that regular bullets can slow them down. I'm not trying to slow them down. I'm trying to be left the fuck alone. But if I have to conflict one, I want my weapons with some kind of magical, mystical power that can cut these motherfuckers down, and that way they stay down. Now, before you think, what if it's one of the good ones? How the fuck am I supposed to know? No, let's keep it real. How the fuck am I supposed to know if it's a good one or not? I'm not taking that fucking chance. You can call me a coward if you want, but I'm a cautious motherfucker. No. Now, if the shaman says only the good ones can pass through the barrier, I'm going to take his word for it. Because he says, only the good ones can pass through the barrier. So if I see a Bigfoot coming in, I'm just standing there and I'm looking up. And then the other things, I'm looking behind him and I see the light that keeps flashing because they're picking on the barrier. Then I know, okay, if this is one of the good ones, I'm safe. Do I want to deal with this motherfucker? Fuck no. I'm ready to go home. Because I'm looking at this fucking barrier. And this son of a bitch, they can't come on this side without coming through the barrier unless they swim under the barrier. But if they can't swim under the barrier, let's say that whoever made the barrier also decided they were going to put a rock. For as far as he could throw the rock, that's where the barrier would be. So let's say they throw the rock, and by the grace of God, it's a big fucking rock. But it lands on the other side of the river. So let's say the river's right here. The barrier would go all the way around and all the way until it gets back to the river where the rock is. Let's say that bitch fell short and the barrier goes, if that motherfucker can swim under the barrier and get in, we got problems. If it figures that out, we're dead. So if the ones that are good can pass through the barrier, the first thing I would tell them, if you're one of the good ones, you might want to call your friends. Because I don't know where you came from, but if you came from the territory that they came from, can I trust you? because they don't get along. And the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's a real fucking thing. I am not going to take the chance on fighting a Bigfoot and a dog man, or a Bigfoot and a werewolf and a vampire and a dog man and a Wendigo and a Skinwalker all in the same night. Fuck that shit. That is not a fucking option. So therefore, like I said, I'm only giving you 5% of actual true information. Now I can sit down so we can finish this video. You have to understand that in any event, you know, big or small, in any event, there will always be a chance that you don't know everything that you need to know, or that everyone hasn't told you everything that you need to know. And in taking a chance like that and not knowing that shit, that's a problem for you. It's not a problem for the cryptic creature. That's a straight problem for you, because you're the one that's going to have to deal with this son of a bitch. And whether you like it or not, if you don't know how to stop it, then it won't be stopped. It might stop you. I'm not trying to go through all that. I am not trying to go through all that. So, as we bring it down, I want to make sure you understand something. I am not a full-blooded native. I have only given you 5% of the truth because I don't know how to stop them. I don't want to deal with them, period. As far as I know, they don't come into cities. I can be wrong. There have been videos of strange shit. If you watch the Travel Channel, they have showed things, and I'm like, okay, if they can come into the city, we got problems. And I'm talking big, major league problems. You think I want to go into the woods without some kind of protection? And I'm not just talking like standard firearm. I'm talking, I want my knife, I want my axe, I want everything that I can stab something with when my bullets are out. Everything. So that being said, I am Echo Van Grable. This is Comfy Hour number 2. If you are from TikTok, thank you for being here. I hope I gave you enough knowledge on the difference between a Wendigo and a Skinwalker, even though that clusterfuck I did at the beginning fucked it up when I was talking about Wendigo, but I used to say Skinwalker instead. And then when I fixed it, started talking about the Skinwalkers. There are these things also called mimics, and there's these things that also are like gnomes and some other things. Now, mimics, I don't know if that's native, but the gnome things, the little people, those are native. So, you kind of want to be careful when you're wandering out in the wilderness, because they're like 2.5 feet tall, or maybe the size of an action figure. They're like the average brand new G.I. Joe classified people. They may be that big. Again, I am not trying to deal with that shit. No. And for those who don't believe in ghosts, goblins, trolls, wendigos, skinwalkers, and dogmen, vampires, werewolves, anything that goes bump in the night. I would ask you to at least err on the side of caution. And for anyone who wants to go camping and decide they want to go without getting their stuff blessed, I again to ask you to err on the side of caution. Because you don't know what's really out there. The bulk of America, away from like your local towns and cities, have not really been explored. So who's to say what's really out there and what's not? I am not trying to find out. And if you are, you let me know. I'm Echo Fan Grable. This is Comfy Hour number 2. Be seeing you. Well, if I can find the cursor.